You got to smoke. You ready? Got your bowl? Everybody out, this is that Bowls with Buds. You got a big bowl, everybody. You ready to smoke up? You ready to light it up? Are you ready to inhale? Are you ready to bring it all the way down into your lungs so you can feel it in your toes?
Why are you all happy? We're going to bring that right down.
Yeah, we're going to bring this right down. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unrelenting.
Yay, we got rid of the theme music.
155. No, it's still in everybody's head, though.
That's all right. That's where let's keep it there.
Let's keep it on. Everything. This whole podcast is just in your mind. If you're listening with earphones, you're
like, be a mind fuck.
These guys are in my head, man. Could you imagine if our voices were in somebody's head 24/7, man?
Yeah.
I'm, of course, Darren O'Neill.
Every time somebody pays money, I'm always thinking that.
And these yeah, and I noticed.
I gotta get a drink.
I don't even notice what I did with the last show, but I left the live tag in the RSS feed, but somehow deleted the bits where they could give us money. But nobody noticed. Not one person was like, "Hey, I was trying to boost you, but I couldn't."
If you were talking, I had the headphones off. I was getting a drink.
What were you drinking? Whiskey, straight up?
Tea.
I was just mentioning that I somehow screwed up the RSS feed and took out the part where they could pay us.
Oh, okay.
Nobody noticed.
Yeah. Why would they?
They're like, fuck
More
you guys.
You didn't notice.
No, not for this show. It's like, this is the normal is 0, 0, 0 coming in, which is sad because even a little bit of Satoshi's like a year or two ago would now be a lot better because the price keeps going up.
Yeah. Where are we at? I haven't checked recently.
It's going up. Bitcoin going up. It's going up like a rocket, like one of Elon's rockets into the stratosphere, higher and higher and higher and higher until it crashes. That's how we said. It's like going to Vegas. This is exactly. Or now, to be fair, everybody has casinos in their towns now that everybody is gamble happy.
We don't.
Really? That's one thing Austin doesn't have is casinos? You can just keep gamble. And then you're like, hey, I'm riding a hot streak. But when do you decide? Nobody, well, not nobody, but most of us human beings keep riding the hot streak until you're right back to where you started. I keep looking at those numbers on the Bitcoin.
109.7.
And I keep thinking, is now the time? Is now the time to just put that into
10% up over last month.
Is it time to put it into gold? Is it time to put it into cash?
Sell all your Bitcoins, boys. This is as high as it goes.
Is it time
down from here?
Is it time to buy some rubles? Can we still buy Russian rubles?
Can we buy rubles? No, not if you're in the U.S.
No,
you can in other countries. Yeah.
See, there's a service somewhere that'll allow me to invest big into the rubles.
Yeah, well, this is why I still don't have access to my rubles because I use the service.
You're just waiting. Waiting for it all to be okay. Bill O'Reilly, our colleague, on his way to China.
China?
Yes. Like, what the hell, dude? And he must feel like being a close personal friend of Donald Trump's will keep him safe because he has a book coming out in September, which is killing... Or no, I'm sorry, not
killing Chinese people.
Kind of. It's not killing anymore. It's confronting. Because the last one was confronting the presidents where they did a quick blurb on all of the presidents. This is confronting evil. And of course, the guy from China from back in the day, what's his name? The horrible leader, not Xi, though. At least that's good. Because if it was Xi, then I'd be like, you're in big trouble. Mao Zedong or whatever. One of these,
the founder of China?
Probably. There was one of them Chinese guys on Bill's book, and I'm like, maybe they're going to be like, Mr. O'Reilly, maybe you take that off, huh?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Although I don't think his books are for sale in China, so maybe he's trying to get them to be.
The one of them that is, because he talked about this, is the one he wrote about Donald Trump. And he says that is hugely popular in China. But yes, I'm guessing most of his stuff is not available or it's heavily redacted.
Kind of loves Trump.
Yeah. And well,
who doesn't? Let's be frank.
The guy is hilarious, and he is not afraid to pull a world leader in and be like, hey, genocide, what are you doing? Here's the video. What are you going to do about it?
That was hilarious, by the way.
It takes big balls. That's for damn sure.
Janet, do we have that video? Can you play that video that we have queued up since yesterday?
Yeah, do we have it?
Do we still have that? Can you find it?
It's like it wasn't planned at all. Do we? Can
we put this? We must kill all the white people.
Yeah.
They are the supreme evil.
Yeah.
And then he says, well, Mr. President, we have free speech in our country.
And there's a lot of crime.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just against the whitey, though.
We have lots of black people that also get killed.
Yes, and they do.
No genocide on the black people.
No.
Mm-mm.
Just on the white. And it's great. I think this is Trump playing that 4D chess again with the Democrats because he's like, hey, bring these migrants in.
Mm.
And they love migrants if they're Democrats, but not
bring
white
these
migrants.
Minorities in. They're a minority in their own country and they're being abused. What do we do?
And all of a sudden the Democrats are like, oh, no, racist, racist, racist.
No, keep all the migrants off the U.S.
It's like, dude, he is making this so much fun.
Mm-hmm. Well, Asmund Gold, who is one of the premier political commentators now, apparently, he used to be a premier gamer.
How long does it take to make that jump?
Well, it took watching the election. That's when it started for him. Because I don't think he gave a shit before the election.
And he was one of these guys.
He was pretty anti-Trump. And then when he started during the election, and then after Trump got elected, he basically watches everything that Trump's office puts out.
Oh my God, that's a lot of content.
Well, he's on 8 hours a day.
Well, then that could fill up his content.
Yeah, but he's not gaming much.
Well, no, because you just have Donald Trump saying things and releasing things.
Exactly.
So he was one of these guys that finally started paying attention and went, wait, this doesn't seem right.
Well, no, he still would call himself a Democrat, I think. Or no, he's always called himself independent, which is
a cop out.
People that just don't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For people that are like, I don't want to take a side, man. I don't want to offend anybody.
But he keeps pointing at Trump's W's while not admitting to actually liking Trump. And he's the guy that's currently, I think, going to be named responsible for shutting down Twitter because of all the pro violent anti-Jew shit on there. And basically, he has had a number of bans over the years from Twitter for fairly innocuous things, and he keeps pointing to literal calls for violence for the Palestinian terrorists out there that are on Twitter.
Right.
Not Twitter. I keep saying Twitter. I meant Twitch.
Twitch, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Twitter is different. It is now X. Twitch is still Twitch, but it starts with a TW just like Twitter used to.
Yeah. So that's where they confuse that, and they haven't.
Oh, you got the B12.
Yeah,
I got some pills here too. Man, I feel so bad about Scott Adams, man. I'm gonna miss that guy.
What happened?
He's dying.
Well, we knew that, but
I'm just saying, that's where we stole instead of simultaneous sip, we have our simultaneous taking of pills during the show. Of course, only pills that your doctors would prescribe or that are available.
We stole that technically. I think we invented it.
Maybe. He had the simultaneous sip, and we just said, hey.
He's a one-man podcast. He literally cannot have.
He can't. But he has people that are watching.
That's totally a different thing.
And then.
What we have is an original creation here.
He has Joe Biden butt cancer. Which nobody wants.
Joe Biden butt cancer?
That's what he has, the same cancer Joe Biden has.
Brain cancer, you mean?
No, but Joe's got butt cancer. It's colon cancer.
Brain cancer.
Well, Joe does, probably. It's probably spread directly and ate Joe's brain. He didn't have one before he got elected.
What do you want?
And that's what you get. But now Scott Adams going to be dying this summer. It's like, that's no good.
That's all planned out.
Pretty well. I mean, I guess he talked about maybe wanting to do hey, California, let us just drink the magic juice and go peacefully into the night.
He's not going to do no treatment or anything, or he's
tried, I guess, and nothing worked. And
well, and that's why I said that we kind of knew this, didn't we? Because I think he's looked like he is a cancer treatment guy for about a year now.
Yes, he definitely looked like he's been drawn and not completely healthy. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, that guy used to be funny.
Dilbert,
I enjoyed
man.
The Dilberts back in the 80s.
Some of the Dilberts are still funny. He was one of the few out there that was still doing Democrat humor through the whole.
I mean, he wasn't really doing Dilberts for probably 15 years. He's had a company doing them for him.
Well, why would you do them yourself? Now you have AI, which means Dilbert's going to live forever.
Well, you keep saying that. I just sent the video. I should have sent it to you as well, to some friends, about AI, that AI has started, or at least what do they call it? OC3 or whatever the hell? What's it? OX, Oxygen 3, or no? What do they call it?
For what?
I don't know. AI name.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I know Anthropic just came out with Claude 4.
It's the other one, the open AI thing.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT C3, I don't know what the fuck.
There's like one of the latest ones is 40-high-something.
Yeah.
That's what I've been using for the coding.
They've started putting in watermarks so you can see everything that is generated by AI is marked.
Been doing that with the coding for the little video game. But I can see where they're going to try to do that. Of course, it's all.
Did you just hear what I said at all or not?
That they will be watermarking.
They are watermarking, have been watermarking for a while, yes.
It's possible. I haven't seen anything.
It's not possible. It's actually been demonstrated, and they are admitting to doing it.
Right, that's fine.
Because people take AI shit and then present it as their own.
Well, that's like coding. I don't know how you can.
It's owned by the AI. They own the
watermark something that is code, because you can see the code. Now you can put things in
yes,
that you can then edit, which means there will be an AI probably that'll be the rogue AI that will do nothing but strip the watermark from the good AI and allow you to re-release. This is really going back. It's sad because it's hearkening right back to the digital rights management of music and CDs and things that just don't work, or that will not stand long enough to make a difference.
Well,
because
I think there's two arguments to be made. I can see both sides, honestly. One is, does a guitar manufacturer get to own the music that you make with it?
No, but they certainly get to brand the guitar.
No, it's a tool, right? So you're buying a tool,
right?
A guitar, to make a product.
Yes, if Taylor Swift plays a Gibson guitar on a song, Gibson doesn't get money.
Right. In fact, Gibson probably pays money.
Yeah, right. Because they're like, we play our guitar, then more people will buy them, and this will be good.
Yeah. But the other side of that argument is, if you have a computer program, or I guess it doesn't even technically even have to be a computer program, but basically something where your artistic input is you press a button and it generates a random thing and then spits it out. Are you the artist of that?
This is the question.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because on one aspect, as you just said, the AI is a tool. And it is a very specific prompt, usually a long string of words that got whatever art it is, whether it's a photograph, graphic, audio, text, it got it to generate that by putting in a very specific thing, which maybe could be interpreted as strumming a guitar chord and playing notes on the guitar. So I can see that aspect of it, which is you have to have the skill and you have to have the creativity. It's just putting creativity into a completely different area when just focusing on where it's able to write the text for you, writing prose, I've noticed that one, you can go in there, and one of the Microsoft guys that has a YouTube channel, I forget his name, but he's he's basically Bemrose, but he's way more successful because he's got a YouTube channel.
Well, he's also a developer, not a tester.
And he's getting up to like 1 million subscribers now.
Yeah, was Dave? The guy you're talking about. He's the guy that wrote the Task Manager.
Really interesting.
He's the guy that originally, they needed it internally, and he wrote it. And then he said, I bet you a lot of people would want to see this info. And they allowed him to make it publicly usable, and it ended up its way being part of the official Windows package. But yeah, that's his claim to fame, is he wrote the taskbar manager for, I guess, Windows 98, or something. Like a long time ago.
Well, he did a video yesterday testing different AIs running locally on everything from machines with little 2 gigabyte in memory for the video card.
Must be nice having that Microsoft stock to just never work.
I know, right? And I think he had somebody lent him, I don't think he owned it, but somebody had given him the ability to access their Mac Studio with the 512 gig of RAM in it to run the one. And he was testing all these things locally and talking.
I'd be surprised if he owned something like that.
About the AI. And it's for what it does to be able to run something like that locally is fairly impressive. But his test was a very simple prompt: write me a story. Now that is going to give you much crazier, non-cohesive results. From my testing on things, that's usually going to give you gibberish that isn't worthy of a 5th grader writing it. But if you have other text, so if you take a story that's already written and you want to say, add a few paragraphs to a chapter, and it can read before and it can read after, then it will do a lot better. And even better would be to do that in between existing text and then give it scene beats, which would be like, well, and then Gene says that's bullshit, and CSB sends a boostergram complaining about it being bullshit, and it will write like 4 paragraphs about those scene beats, and it does very good with that. Yeah.
Well, and I think most of these AIs that do text-related things, what they're very good is flushing out the patterns. So, because people, it's almost by default, because if you take writing classes, they will teach you how to write in patterns. And so what we consider as people, collectively, humanity, as what we consider good writing, and obviously there's extremes on both sides, but what we generally consider good art writing, and which is the same thing that's taught in college writing classes, some even high school maybe, but for sure college classes, that creates a certain standard or pattern that the AI can then emulate.
Yes.
So if you say specifically, write me something in the style of a somebody that dropped out of high school in the 8th grade, you should get very different results than if you just don't put any prompt like that at all and then just tell it to do something. It's going to do it in the preferred, what we would consider the proper way to write a story.
Yeah, it's basic default. Now, when I do the paragraphs to describe Unrelenting, it's either write in the voice of P.T. Barnum, write in the voice of Donald Trump, write in the voice of Richard Marchenko. Well, this is the other thing that I've figured out with the latest ChatGPT, because normally if you do one of these things like, hey, write me a story, you go and you throw that into your least favorite Grammarly or any of these other things that try to detect AI writing. It notices like, hey, like 80% of your writing is AI. Now, once I put in a few 1,000 words of something that I had actually written myself and said, write me a story in this voice, in this, same style, those things did not notice AI writing.
Really?
So what it's looking for is those default generic patterns, which people have pointed out everywhere. It's that the EM dash is the most popular thing for whatever reason, the The AIs love the EM dash.
Mm-hmm.
And normal people do not use it anywhere near as much. So if you are generating things for school kids and you don't want your teacher to know, get rid of them dashes. Make them commas. It's the same thing, pretty much. So, and then, of course, there's the let's intentionally misspell a few words or grammar just so it doesn't look like an AI spit it out.
Right. But the watermarking stuff is fascinating because I was waiting for them to start doing that.
How are they watermark? I mean, it's easy enough.
They're
with
putting
images.
in invisible characters.
Well, in images, that's even easier to do because there's all sorts of ways to embed that.
With images, you can literally put in a QR code that is not visible to a normal human.
No, which a lot of people don't know that everything you print on a physical printer has a watermark that is
in yellow
unique to your printer.
Yeah.
So it can
your
be tracked down.
Your social security number. Mm-hmm.
But they have it, which they probably do.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know how would
Google doesn't have yours? Come on.
How do you watermark something that is text? Because that would be very easy then to run through any kind of, basic Notepad++, something that would strip anything extra. How are they doing it in text, or is it impossible to do this with text?
Well, you can certainly strip things, but there are plenty of characters for foreign languages, including some that are not visible when you're typing in Latin. Our character system that you can stick in there. And sometimes they'll show up as little squares. Like if you do a copy and paste, you see little squares.
Right. You're like, what's that?
Instead of characters. Like, what the hell is that?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's how they do it.
Which that'll be strippable. So the text it's a waste of time. Images
and
video.
Text, every law is subvertible. Okay.
Yes.
Everything that somebody tries to do, like copy protection in software, you can get around. But the percentage of people that get around is 1%.
True, because you have to know it's there.
99 is what they're doing this for.
Yeah, and 2, you have to know how to understand.
They're doing it for things like, so you submitted a legal brief, and did you write this legal brief? Well, yes, I did. Aha,
you're fired, or you're going to jail.
AI wrote it for you.
Oh, I loved. I mean, No Agenda talked about it. The fact that a syndicated summer reading list that was totally AI schlock.
Mm-hmm.
Made it into all these papers. It was like, yes, you want to read Stephen King's And the Boy Cried Wolf. Like, there's no Stephen King book called And the Boy Cried Wolf.
Wow. And the Boy Cried Wolf even.
Yeah. The whole, I mean, I don't know if that's what it said. I just made that up as an example. But
Okay.
I mean, if you were smarter, if you're the one programming the AI, you would have had to be like, well, go buy the book from Gina about the selling business on business.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Please go buy my book, Free Poncho. How to lose money on free ponchos. That's the next in the series.
I still have the ponchos, right?
True.
I didn't lose anything per se. I still have them.
You have Poncho Equity.
They don't expire. Okay. They didn't like, I bought a bunch of eggs when the egg prices were high, and now I'm screwed because the egg prices are coming down and no one's buying my expensive eggs anymore, and they're going to expire in a month. No, these ponchos I can literally sell for the rest of my life. I get buried in these damn ponchos.
You got so much Poncho Equity, man.
Forever after I'm dead in these ponchos.
Be like, what's going on?
Why the last cadaver after the nuclear blast happened?
The ponchos may be the only thing that survive.
The only real solace I have is that after I'm dead, so is the rest of the world. So it doesn't matter.
Gene's like, push the button. Vlad, push the button. Come on. Do it. Push it. Push the button.
Man, what makes you think I don't have a button sitting right in front of me here?
I'm sure you do. I just don't think it's wired to anything. It was reminds me of one of my Doonesbury comics back in the day. Remember
I remember those
with Opus ones, the Penguin. I mean, there was one where there were like I think it was some kids class that was visiting the nuclear power plant, and Opus, of course, the Penguin working at the power plant. And his text bubble was just, uh-oh. Yeah, that's how it's going to be here, kids.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. And then it all goes away. But there is too much insanity. It might be time. It could be ready for another this world Another Noah's Ark situation.
Yeah, of a variety of type, sort.
Got to do it.
I can see that.
Got to do it.
Well, I don't know if you got to do it, but
speaking of religious things, the little town here where
of Bethlehem,
Dalton, very close, Dalton, Illinois, where Pope Leo grew up.
Yeah.
The house that he lived in was already for sale, was getting bids over the asking price. And it appears that the city is going to take the home using eminent domain.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I hate that.
To make it into some kind of whatever, because, the Pope's from here. Woo! The White Sox already put up a mural at the ballpark in the section where he sat for the World Series. It's like, trying to capitalize on the image of the Pope. I don't know if that's really what they had in mind. There's a very thin line between showing your respect and trying to capitalize on. And the White Sox don't win, so I guess maybe.
I mean, everyone has some sort of a business museum type thing that operates out of the hometown of. I remember going to the Clinton house, to the
blowjob room.
They used to live. I don't know what the hell they're called. The house the Clintons used to live in. I remember going to that.
That would be a fun thing to go view. This is very big. This is where Hillary slept. This is where Bill slept.
Yeah. No, I had to pay $800 to sleep in that bedroom.
This is two different sides of the house. A lot of you're walking into one room,
coming and going.
Yeah, for Hillary,
both sides.
Yeah, right. Exactly. There was a game. It was like, who can do more? Who can get more? Who can get more?
What? And I'm okay with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's the killing of the people on the list that I have a problem with.
Sometimes people just need a good killing. We need a good reset. I am not saying anything bad about Hillary Clinton. Nope. She seems like a very fine, upstanding serial killer. That's all I'm going to say. I'm sure she never actually got her own hands dirty, though. Then what are we going to do once everything's watermarked? Now, is it going to be... See, if it was big watermark, that would kill the AI whole concept. Because for all the guys that are producing the new porno, if there was a big AI logo on top of the titties, they would not like that. But I guess that's one way to kill a new industry. Still, nobody's talking about the amount of power needed. Well, what this is really going to do to all information on the internet, because isn't it it was suspect before AI, but isn't it like doubly suspect now? Like, was it written by a real person? Was it written by AI? Newspapers are getting caught.
And I've said this, I think, on one of our last couple of shows, is we're living during the golden age of AI right now, much like we did during the golden age of YouTube before Google bought it. What is coming for AI are two things. I predict this. You can put it in the book. One, legislation that limits and controls AI and how it can be distributed,
which won't work.
I think what'll happen is there will be legislation that places an actual criminal penalty on distributing AI generated works without disclosure of it being AI generated. I think that is coming, and not for the college kids that are trying to, pretend they're writing shit.
Right.
But it's going to be coming because it's going to start affecting business contracts and operations. I think that there will be lawsuits for things that AI created against businesses that said that's not ours. And that's going to lead to this type of law. So mark my words, may not be this year, may not be during Trump's presidency, but it is absolutely coming. Controls on AI content are coming. Number two is companies like Google that both have AI and a business that only exists based on content that is unique and interesting to watch. I think what they're going to start seeing is, as the percentage, and it's already a lot, but as the percentage of content on services like YouTube, which costs them money to operate, starts becoming over 50% AI generated, they're going to put the brakes on, because what they're going to realize is that, much like with email, who nobody looks at anymore because it is 95% spam. No one that actually wants to communicate with you is going to send you an email. The only emails that people get are legally required emails or emails to accounts within their own companies from their own companies. So they're internal emails. You don't use email for actual communication anymore. You use other things like Signal or text messaging.
I mean, once you maybe make a contact, you do, but usually the email's probably only there for that first line.
How often have I emailed you? We've been
but I know you
/ working together for 3 years now.
If somebody is listening to this show and they're like, hey, I really want to get a message to either me or you,
it's not going to be email.
It's certainly not going to be Signal, because I ain't giving them my Signal address.
Oh, no. Signal is for actual people I know. Not exactly. No. It's what it's going to be is a donation.
True. This is
PayPal.
it. Boostagram.
Comment.
Yeah. A big boost or a PayPal.
I don't know if the boosts work. Apparently not. So don't bother doing those. But
here's $5,000. I really need you to contact me.
That's right. That's exactly what we're looking for.
It's the only way it works.
That'll be the last show ever we ever do.
We finally made it.
We did it. We can now retire on these.
Yeah.
With the 5,000 2 ways and we're good to go. Well,
that's what people think. People think 5,000 Satoshis and you're lit. You're fine. You're good.
Oh yeah. You're on fire. Yeah.
Yesterday was the date in time. I forget what year it was. I can look it up, where the first real Bitcoin transaction happened, where the coder used Bitcoin to buy 2 pizzas, which is like, I just thought this again, seeing how the times have changed. I got this in from Coin Cards, who wants you to spend your money. But this was in 2010. So only 15 years ago, kids. Laszlo Henayes, I'm sure I'm butchering his name, was a coder. He made a tasty bit of history. It says trading 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. Yeah, that is now worth $1 billion. 15 years ago, 2 pizzas. If I just want to know, I want to follow up. I want to know if the guy that got the 10,000 Bitcoins for the pizzas just put it on a hard drive, laughed, and then forgot about it, or what happened, because that's $1 billion now from the guy that gave him the 2 pizzas. Did you keep the Bitcoin? How many Bitcoin does this coder still have? I'm assuming if
most
you gave
people have not kept it. I mean, anecdotally speaking, from people I know, most people that have had Bitcoin early on either lost it like I did, or spent it when it hit like $5,000 and like, holy shit.
Yeah, this is real money.
I'm getting real money out of it before this thing crashes.
But can you imagine if you were that guy 15 years ago and
the
you just
majority of people
left it
currently hold Bitcoin at over $100,000 bought it within the last 5 years.
I'm still pissed off I didn't spend the $4,000 to buy a Bitcoin a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, and I know a guy 2 years ago that he's a not super tech type guy, but he's, reasonably well off. He makes a few $100,000 a year. He's got a decent job, blah, blah, blah. He texted me out of the blue and he said, hey, where can I buy Bitcoins? And I'm thinking, all right, what do you want to do?
Who's scamming you? Who's about
you
right?
Want to get gambling? Yeah. He's like, no, I just, we were talking about Bitcoins at my church and somebody said we should all own Bitcoins. But when I go to, so this is him talking.
At the church, that's great.
He's very Catholic. I know that makes him untrustworthy immediately.
Right.
But if you go to, what's the most common place for buying
Coinbase?
stuff?
Coinbase.
Right,
buying
Coinbase.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
So if he said, so this is him telling me. So I went to Coinbase and it won't let me buy a whole Bitcoin. It only lets me buy like $5,000 worth. I'm like, oh, so you just want to find a place that'll let you spend more money immediately without waiting to see what kind of buying pattern you. Because obviously Coinbase trying to prevent people from losing their livelihood,
right? Losing their homes and
yeah. And he's like, yeah, I just want to buy 2 coins. I need to find some place where I can buy a couple coins.
You want Gene's house of Bitcoin then?
And I remember specifically looking at the price of Bitcoin when we were having that conversation. It was about $48,000. And I was thinking, Jesus Christ, you want to put $100,000 into this scam?
Right.
Okay. I mean, look, and I told him, I gave him my rant, which is, if you're going to buy it, never sell it. Just buy it and hold on to it forever. Never sell it. And my number is 1 million. So if Bitcoin actually, it's only 9x away from it right now. If Bitcoin ever goes 9x, that's why I'm selling it.
And you're gonna have a party, big party.
Hell no, I'm gonna keep it all, and I'll won't be doing this show anymore. That's for sure. Won't need this income. Ha!
Nice.
I'll be able to retire. Anyway,
okay.
So I told him, yeah, and they found a couple other places that sell it. And then he texted me back. He's like, yep, they let me go and buy a couple of coins directly. So now I'm thinking, man, I was afraid he's going to lose his money and what a putz. And literally within the year, Bitcoin was up to like 80. And of course, now it's at 110. And as of the time of doing this show. So it's, yeah. I mean, this guy that knows nothing about techie shit or Bitcoin until he talked about it in church and decided to spend some money on it.
Until he found a shady friend to help him buy it.
Money in a couple of years. Yeah, 3 years. He probably doubled his money.
Gene took the 50,000. Like, no, I bought the Bitcoin for you. Don't worry. If you ever need it, I've got it.
There was a movie that came out many years ago. It was a French film, which I'm sure makes it something everybody here listening saw. It was called. Oh, God, I got to remember the name of the movie. But it was essentially a cop buddy movie that is made in France in the 1990s, if that helps narrow it down at all.
Oh, yeah,
I'm a
Francophile.
For a fact, you're never going to be able to just come up with it. Most American movies, when I say, that one actor, you can kind of figure out who it is. This one ain't happening because I don't know the actors' names. I just know it was a hilarious film because I laughed a lot.
Oh, well, it must be. Are you sure it wasn't a horror movie? Because I laugh when I see a good horror movie, I laugh a lot.
No, this was a French film.
Tomato.
No, there's no horror films in France. They're all comedies.
And this was it was like subtitles kind of in French.
No, I used to know French.
Oh, okay.
In the 90s. I knew French in the 90s. I knew Spanish in the 90s. I knew all kinds of things in the 90s that I don't anymore. I actually had a job in the 90s. It's amazing.
Well, yeah, that's long gone. And a wife.
Yeah, it's all gone.
Wife, job, hair.
Yeah, all of it. The only thing that seems to not be gone is the puffy layer around my middle.
Right. Well, see, that's going to live forever. The ponchos will cover it, though.
Hopefully. So
it's a buddy movie.
It's a buddy cop movie about a corrupt cop that has a partner that they basically, they're typical French corrupt cops. So they get they're on the take. They kind of ignore minor crimes by the criminals that pay them to look the other way. And all of a sudden they find themselves at the beginning of the movie in a situation where the police, the internal affairs are investigating them. Or not, no, I shouldn't say investigating, but they've closed in on this police, corrupt police rink, and the guys are about to be captured, and they're like, well, we're going to get caught, but maybe only one of us has to get caught, says one of the cops. And then the other one's like, what do you mean? Well, says, well, if you take a hit for both of us, I'll owe you. And so essentially one of them shoots the other one in like the stomach to where it's a flesh wound kind of thing or whatever. It's not, basically just to say that I caught him. I was onto him. He's the corrupt one. And, I managed to wing him. And here you go, guys. So one of the two basically gets a cover story. And I think they do Rochambeau or something to pick which one it's going to be, but or maybe not. Maybe one of them convinces the other one to do it. But the point is, at the very beginning of the movie, you kind of lose one of the two cops. Yeah, I mean, he's still alive. He's
Was
in the hospital.
Les Ripeux, Ripous? Directed by Claude Zidi?
I don't believe so. It doesn't ring a bell, but it's not to say that it couldn't be if what I'm describing. Well, hear a little bit more of it. And so I think it may be called My New Partner. Or
yes, that's
like
it.
That.
That's the translation.
There you go.
It came out in 1984.
Ooh, really? In the 80s? I thought it was the 90s.
The film centers on Rene, a moderately corrupt veteran Parisian policeman who teaches his naive by-the-book new partner, Francois, the art of bending the rules and taking bribes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is what Perplexity AI can tell you by
That's
putting...
pretty good. So apparently the AI can work as a memory aid.
Yes. I put in French film, 1990s, buddy movie, funny, corrupt cop with a partner, one shoots the other to cover crime, and it came out with it.
Nice. I like it.
This is way easier than trying to remember titles on your own.
I know, right? Exactly. No, so what was the title? Because I did not remember the title.
Les Ripeux, R-I-P-O-U-X, Ripeux. How do you? I'm not good at French.
Yeah.
Which the English title would be My New Partner.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that's actually what it translates as, but okay.
That's what it has. My New Partner, 1984.
I think it just says My Partner, but
maybe. But that's what the AI says.
Cool. Yeah. So that was the movie. I've seen it more than once. It is really funny. It's well done. But the reason I brought it up is I didn't even get to the incident in the movie that made me remember it before you found the movie, which is great. One of the things that happens is this new partner is totally straight-laced. Like, he is by the book, totally not corrupt. He's the kind of guy that would give a bicyclist a ticket for not going in the correct lane.
As well you should. Fuck those bicyclists, especially the recumbent ones.
Yeah. So anyway, which, you know what? I'll never come on bike. Doesn't matter. Whatever. So,
I'm thinking of getting one. It would be cool.
I think you probably are going to eventually. Yes.
Yeah.
Ironically. So one of the things that happens is it says, talks to his partner and going to I can't remember if it was a dog race or a horse race, but it was some kind of animal race thing. And it's like, he comes up with whatever reason for going there. So they end up going there. And it's like, hey, I'm going to go put some money, just an innocent bet where it's totally legal, put some money on horse, blah, blah, blah. Do you want to go in with me? And the other partner's like, no, I don't think so. Oh, come on. It'll be fun. But he kind of talks him into making bets. And he says, all right, well, what horse do you want to make a bet on? The older corrupt cop, he's actually into gambling, so he knows his horses or dogs or whatever.
Or thinks he does.
The other guy clearly doesn't. So he just picks one. They say, why do you want to do that one? I really like the name, or I like the way his ears wiggle. Something stupid, something that has nothing to do with the performance of the animal. So the guy's like, oh, here we go. So he goes back to make the bet. He makes his own bet. And then he thinks twice and he's like, guy's going to lose anyway. I'm just going to keep his money and then tell him he lost. So he keeps his money, does not make the bet for that. And then you see the actual race start. Let's say it's a horse race, because I can't remember if it was dogs or horses. And then you see the horses racing, and then all of a sudden, out of the back, starts pulling out the horse that the young cop bet on.
Right. The
and you
long
can see
shot.
The expressions on the face of the older guy go from happy because his horse was winning to progressively more worried. You're like, oh, fuck, because not only does he lose if his horse doesn't win, but now he didn't make the bet for the other guy. And so he will have to pay him. And it was it was a bet that paid like 10-1 or something.
Oh yeah, it had to be a long shot.
Long shot, yeah. So it was a well-played, funny moment where you can see the guy going from happiness to fear to like totally scared shitless that he just fucked himself by being overly greedy. Like, he could have made the bet, right? And then it would have been lost, no big deal. But he decided to keep
pocket that money, right?
Yeah, pocket that money. He's going to lose it anyway. I might as well keep it.
This dumb Catholic wants to spend $100,000 on Bitcoin. Man, I'll save him some.
Exactly.
And it'll be great when it crashes and I can give him, half his money back.
Yeah. It's like, So that's what he does. So in the end, what ends up happening is the guy's horse, the long shot does not actually win. It trips right before the finish line or something. And the correct horse that the older guy bet on actually wins. And so he ends up now being, thankful for oh, thank God I don't have to pay him money.
Off the hook,
But now he has to show him that his lost his bet. So he looks on the ground and finds some of the bet stubs for that horse that somebody just threw on the ground after it lost, and picks it up and then brings it back with him to the cop, and then takes it, and before he gives him back to him, he just rips it and throws him on the ground. Oh yeah, I'm sorry about your bet. It's so close. Your horse lost, but hey, don't worry about it. This is us all just total random luck. It happens. But I'll tell you what, I'll buy you a beer, because he just took his money from that bet. So he's going to spend a little bit of that money back on the guy. That's what made me remember the movie. That was from the 80s, and you're absolutely right. I remember now it was from the 80s because I remember watching it in the theater when it came out, and I remember watching it on videotape.
You went to a French movie in a theater? Who are you?
Well, in a cinema.
The cinema, yes. And on multiple different ways of communication, I've gotten this message. Please ask Gene to reconsider their ban on Bitcoin gram reading, and I'll resume sending 333 to Unrelenting Pod. Rationale. Unrelenting Pod has 10 listeners, so bigger amount not reasonable.
Well, he's not wrong about that, but it's just annoying. And look, we mentioned him for free last show. What the hell is he complaining about? He got a free mention last time.
We love CSB. He's so much fun.
Well, I think you hate him, technically.
No, we love CSB.
No, I remember you had a big major blow up with him, and you told him to go fuck himself.
Well, who doesn't tell CSB to go fuck himself at least once a week?
I thought you were going to say, who does Darren not tell to go fuck themselves?
Well, that's kind of true, too. It's just part of the system. It's a self-cleaning system. It goes round and round and round.
Yeah.
Just the way it works sometimes. He was big on Bitcoin. I'm surprised CSB's not like a billionaire by now.
He might be.
That's true.
And you know how he gets to stay a billionaire? By not throwing his money away on podcasts.
Right, by not sending more than $3.33 to this show.
Yeah.
That would be the highest, though, what we would have for today.
And here's he's making my point for me, I think, which is if you're going to donate to the show as an advertising expense that is determined by the number of potential listeners that hear your message, then he's absolutely right. But this show doesn't do advertising, and I've said that from a long time ago. And so the idea that someone wants to donate and use the rationale but you don't have many listeners, therefore I'm not going to donate very much. Yes, what you're doing is something we don't want. We don't want advertising on the show. Now, I will say, and it's happened for this show in the past with our Australian buddy who donates $100. Is the show worth $100 that he's donated over 1,000 total? Probably not, but it is to him because he did it.
Right.
And that's the part that I want to differentiate here.
Dale from Down Under.
That's right, Dale. And Dale, I have a horrible memory. That's why I couldn't remember your name, because my memory is not what it used to be back when I watched French movies.
True. Way back when. Today.
But I still remember those. See, when the memory was created, back when I had a memory, it's still there.
It was
there
strong.
Forever.
Yeah.
But a memory created today, I couldn't tell you what video game I played yesterday. I have no idea. I did something.
I would like to go through all of the PayPal donations for today's show. Scott Gorman, $2.50. Thank you.
Yeah, anything under $3.33 should be anonymous.
And that's all we got.
A rule for that.
That's all. But he sent it in last show too. So if you're going to do it every show, that is that's worthy. Now, if you're like $2 every 6 months,
yeah,
that's a little different. Did you like?
And I know this show doesn't really get donations, so I really only have to use just Two Good Old Boys as my example for donations. But
we can talk about the donations.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say the differentiating factor being that when people donate based not on the number of other people listening, but based on the enjoyment that they themselves get, that's what value for value is that Adam Curry has coined. It is how much value do you derive out of this show, and not how much value do you, because the way that CSB just put it, the way you read it, he's deriving zero value out of this show himself personally, and he's only looking to derive value out of the number of people that visit his website, which is what, CSB dot whatever.
LOL for the lols.
LOL.
All for the lols.
Exactly. So if he thinks the number of people going to that website based on the show is going to be small and he wants to make a small donation, then what he's saying is, I am buying the eyeballs or earballs of your viewers and listeners for this amount of money. But I myself don't give a shit about your show. I don't really derive any enjoyment out of it, because if he did derive any enjoyment out of the show, then what he would be doing is donating regardless. He could be the only viewer or listener, but if he's the viewer or listener that is enjoying the show, and he would want to donate based on that enjoyment. And that's the difference. And that's why I just wanted to clarify. Advertising is something we do not do, and that is paying for us to say shit that is trying to get you to have people go there. What we do is to have people who enjoy the show, regardless of whoever else is listening, actually enjoy listening to the show and then send a donation. And I think there is a point in time that happens to all shows where the only people that are potentially going to be sending in money are new listeners, because old listeners have already done that. Look, I'm totally guilty of that with no agenda. So I've donated, I think it's over 10,000, but I think $11,000 or $12,000 to no agenda. But I haven't donated anything in the last 2 years. Does that mean I hate Adam? Does that mean I hate the show? No.
Yes, it does.
What it means is I just don't listen to the show very much anymore.
Let's be honest. You had $1,000 donation ready to go, and then JCD didn't respond to your wine request.
Well, no, don't say that, because he will now, and then he'll expect his $1,000. JCD absolutely works on those principles.
Quid pro quo. Come on.
Exactly. It's not value for value. It's quid pro quo. Hey, I respond to your text message. Now you owe me $1,000.
It is. It's a valuable service that he provides.
Well, it used to be back when I was donating money.
Like, how much is that wine? How much is the bottle of wine? It should be a percentage of the bottle of wine, whatever you're buying.
I think that bottle was about $250.
See, so at least 20%. I think you have to give to your sommelier helper on the other end.
But I think I did actually give something like that to the sommelier, just not JCD.
Like the last show as well, Darren Rundle just came in with $5.65. Thank you. That's again daily. And he says, hey, ask Gene to talk about what camera he used to use or whatever random photography story. So he wants to know more about your photography exploits, what you used to use.
I was a Canon partner. So I used exclusively Canon gear. I had pretty much every Canon body other than the 1 series. So I had all of the 5 series cameras. I think I had 3 or 4 of them. And I don't mean one after the other. I mean all at the same time. I had the 6. I had the what I have.
This was all back when there was still analog film, right? Or are you going into the digital realm?
This is all digital. So in the analog film day, if you want to go back to the 80s and 90s,
the good days,
I used contacts. I was a contacts guy. So contacts cameras were my preference, and Carl Zeiss lenses, and they were really expensive. They still are there, but they're not as good. And I say that with a little asterisk. They're still very good. They're just not as good as they used to be. So Carl Zeiss, the company, Zeiss obviously sounds German because it is German.
Well, that's the glass. I think that Apple still uses in their phones, or some of these phones that use their glass. That's like a big selling point still.
Yeah, it's a name. It's only purely marketing at this point. But they used to actually have a reputation for making very good lenses. And at some point, and I think that point happened somewhere in the 90s, a Sony bought Zeiss. And so all the Sony digital cameras that were like the cheapos back in the day, before they started their pro camera lines, all had Zeiss on the lenses. So they bought the company, but they bought it mainly to use for marketing and legacy. And I think they transitioned all the manufacturing to Japan, which is still better than China. So that's why they're still pretty damn good quality. They're not as good as they were. If you find old Zeiss lenses, like back from the 70s, 80s, or early 90s, but for sure 70s, 80s, those were very high quality lenses. The stuff that happened after Sony bought them definitely took a dive downhill because they mostly wanted the name, but it's still better than a lot of other stuff. So I switched when I went digital. I switched to Canon, and I had so many lenses. I had probably 25 to 30 lenses.
Yeah, I forget which model Canon I have, but that's what I did. The few videos that I made for YouTube back in the day, a few years ago, was using the DSLR, which was a lot nicer than using a webcam. Although I think the webcams have caught up.
I think they've gotten much, much better. There's still never a substitute for a DSLR.
No,
simply because the sensor size on all webcams is just tiny. Like if somebody made a webcam that had a sensor that was the size of a DSLR sensor,
which they should,
the webcam would be $500.
Which they should, though, for professional YouTubers. There's a market for that now.
What that does, how does the size of the sensor make the image better? Well, you can make a very high resolution small sensor, and they do that. So you can have a lot of detail. What you don't have is any focal planes. You don't have depth of field. You don't have what the kids like to call bokeh, which is really bouquet in Japanese mispronunciation, because I was there when that term was created.
Ooh.
It was, yeah, that was in the 90s.
Are you sure it wasn't the 80s?
It could have been the 80s. I think it was the 90s. My time is compressed. I was having time compression issues.
Quick,
what happens when you
to the TARDIS.
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, Doctor Who.
If only.
It's something that at the bigger your sensor, the narrower you can get depth of field. And what that does is it makes the person look sharp, and the background, both in front and behind. I guess the background would be behind, be blurry, and then the foreground, also be blurry. And that's the professional sort of cinematic look that we all consider to be professional quality. And the only way to do that is with a physically larger size sensor. Because one of the properties, in fact, this is how aperture works on cameras. As you shrink the size of the hole that the light passes through, you improve the focus at every distance. So if you want to have everything in focus, including the stuff real close to you and the stuff that's far away, you want all of it to be in focus, then you have to dial the f-stop to be pretty high, like an f11 or higher. And then it'll look like, most people's iPhone image where everything's in focus. Although lately iPhones have been doing a very good job digitally creating bokeh.
Well, that's it. So, that's the question for photographers and iPhones and AI, that you can take a crappy picture, feed it in, and it will recreate.
Well, I don't think that's true. I don't think it's possible to automatically do that. However, here's what I do agree with. I recently was at my niece's wedding, where I think I took the best photo at the wedding. And this wedding, she is in the fashion photography and show industry. Like, there were a lot of professional photographers at this event. And it was, New York kind of Fashion Week style event.
So you felt you had to up your game.
Her wedding. So I think in my humble opinion, I shot the best photo of the wedding that anybody shot at the wedding. And I did it with my iPhone.
See, that is crazy.
And I didn't. And somebody said, "Oh, what filter did you use?" I said, "I didn't use a filter. I fucking did photography for 30 years. I know what to do to make a photo look the way I want it to."
See,
I don't need to push a filter button.
I fully believe that was exactly the answer to. I don't think you're even exaggerating.
I fucking know what I'm doing. Because frankly, a lot of these pro photographers these days use filters.
Of course, to get the look easier.
Yeah. And I had to explain that. You see, back when I did photography, I was part of the Through the Lens community, which is a group dedicated to purists who didn't look at or who posted images that they shot straight out of the camera with no manipulation with Photoshop or other evil products.
Right. Well, yeah, the
if you can't do it in the fucking camera, then you're not a good photographer.
The Topaz AI, all these things now.
Our motto back then.
The on one stuff now, it's like you don't know if things are legitimately.
The first use of AI like that in photography that was a very traumatic experience to those of us on the pro side was when Samsung. So some people started noticing that if you take a picture of the moon, like that has the moon in it, and you can zoom in on the moon, even, you have an extremely beautiful, very detailed moon. And it's like, how the hell are they doing this? Because your normal camera doesn't have the resolution to capture. Like, I was using a 50 megapixel imager, full frame imager, with a 500 millimeter telephoto lens on it, do photography of the moon that gave the type of quality that a Samsung phone was doing. I was like, what is going on? Well,
trickery.
What it turned out to be was trickery, because Samsung decided that wouldn't it be cool if the camera analyzed, and when they saw that there was a moon in the shot, whether it was the main thing you were shooting or whether it was like a moon in part of a night shot or something, that they would take the date that the image was shot on and the time and the location, which the phone has all those, GPS, calculate then what the lighting on that moon was that day, take a static image that was pre-shot with high resolution of the moon, apply the light effect on that moon from whatever day and time location details you have. I guess location doesn't matter as much. It's mostly just the date and time. So, was it a quarter moon? Was it a full moon? Whatever.
Right.
And then use that pre-recorded high resolution image of the moon and just shrink it down to match the size of what it saw in the image as being the moon. That's what they started doing without telling anybody.
Well, that's why everybody's worried about now what you can do on somebody's phone, see on their phone, because they're accessing it in ways that you don't know, and that is shitty.
I mean, what you said is true, but it has absolutely nothing to do with what I just said.
No, I understand. I'm just saying this is what leads people to not trust.
Are you not outraged
anything
that Samsung would do that? I was outraged. We were picketing. We were walking around with signs outside of Samsung. Like, you cannot lie to the people. The people cannot be lied to with a fake moon.
How many people mooned them? That is what I really want to know, because that would have been the perfect way to.
That actually is pretty funny.
Go out there.
But it's a brilliant idea from a video. Like, if you're making a video game or something, or even not a video game, but some kind of software tool where you want to have a certain level of accuracy, and it takes place in Chicago in 1967 on July 5th. And they actually went to the trouble of calculating on July 5th, there was a new moon. So it was just barely a sliver of a moon. And in the game, you would see, or in whatever software, you would see that. Like, that's cool.
Accuracy, yes.
What I'm not for is selling a phone that tells people it's so high resolution that you can actually capture the details of the craters on the moon from your phone.
Right. It's not capturing, it's recreating. Right. Well, I'm sure they're going to start moving into phones as well. The technology that the Topaz uses with their Topaz AI, which if you have smaller family photos or family photos that are, a little bit yellowed, or if you got crinkles, it can really clean them up. But what it's doing is, rather than where if you were to take that photo and scan it and then just keep making it bigger and bigger and bigger, you're going to get all the pixelization. It uses the AI to sharpen it up, which really leads to the question. It may look a lot like the original, but is it really the original for what people want to use it for? It is.
I think it's legitimate to say it's restored, because we've had photo restoration services forever, and we've had even photo restoration software. And it's funny you name them, because Topaz is always around. They were kind of like the B quality guys compared to some of the others, but they were always around for probably 15 years, 20 years as a company that had software that let you do high format, interpolated scaling. So that was their first real big claim to fame. So if you were doing like poster size prints, and I worked with all this stuff. So if you were making the ads that you see at shopping, you used to see at shopping malls, they probably don't exist anymore. But the posters on the walls that are like a full wall, 20 feet tall by 30 feet wide.
Oh, right. Yeah.
An image of a happy couple shopping for Christmas products or something. So when you have those giant blow ups, what you would do is you would first have to improve the resolution of the image.
Right.
It's a whole different process in the analog days, but with digital, you'd have to, because your normal camera image, at least back in that day, we're probably talking like 4 megapixel would be super high resolution.
Right.
Usually they'd be less than that. Most cameras were like 1 megapixel back then. And so you'd have to take that image, blow it up, and software like Topaz would actually, and there are 2 other companies that did it back in the day, but Topaz is one of them. Take that file, and then it would interpolate that image, but at much better quality, like it would look closer to the original, but higher resolution than what Photoshop could do.
Right. Photoshop would start pixelizing.
It could do a little bit. Like you could probably double the image size without too much trouble. But if you go 8x or 16x, it's looking like shit. Whereas the specialty software, and one of the products I remember was using, this is all pre-AI days, but it was using what am I thinking of? It's like a Mandelbrot set that was using, what is that whole thing called?
For what? For upscaling?
Yeah, well, forget scaling. Just Mandelbrot is set for, what's the general topic of that? I guess I can ask the AI for that too. I don't have to ask you.
No, of course the AI knows all.
Well, the AI should know.
I'll have to look. I have a couple of posters from the late 90s from Victoria's Secret store of Adriana Lima that are like,
you have the 20 by 30 foot ones.
They're not quite 20 by 30, but it's the whole height of a room. So it's probably like 10 by 4 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a big blow up compared to a 20 by 30 or 36 by 24 image, which are your basic posters.
Yeah. Well, the photo format was 2 by 3.
NetNet sent 1,500 sats, said recumbents are gay boost. I like that.
They're gay.
And then CSB, he came in. Did you see it?
No.
Here's 333 for you, Darren. Put the link www.csb in the show notes and tell the Jew to fuck himself. Yo, CSB.
Oh, wow.
The war between you and CSB has rekindled.
Amazing.
Just as CSB and I made up and are good friends.
Wow. He's such a racist. He's probably the most racist person I know. And this is after yesterday I mentioned him for free. And horrible. Today I give away his link for free.
Yeah, horrible.
I tell you, there's no pleasing a Polak, that's for sure.
He's still mad. The Pope's probably from the United States now.
Well, they haven't had a Polish Pope in years.
No, not since John Paul II.
Yeah.
Who was also not just a Pope, because I have a rosary that was blessed by John Paul II. And it's like, he's not just a Pope, though. He was canonized a saint. So, I mean, that's,
Really?
yeah.
Not surprising.
He is,
The one good thing is I don't
there.
think he was a diddler. I'm not sure about all the other guys.
John Paul too. I wonder if I could sell we have,
I've been there. I've been to the Vatican like 5 times.
some nice artwork.
What?
Nice artwork.
Yeah, for photography. And I've never met the Pope, but I've been close to the Pope a number of times. I've been where the Pope was. This is back in John Paul days, in fact. I think he was probably about 100 feet away.
So he blessed you during a mass or out to one of the little visits outside the Vatican balcony.
I never stuck around for those. Too many people.
And you thought you might melt, being that you're not a good Catholic boy.
Yes, I might melt. Exactly.
Drinking some Olipop today. Banana cream.
I'm not a fan of banana flavored water. I don't know.
It's a cream soda.
Is it? Is it though?
That's what they say. I realized I ran out of my Liquid Death, so I need to buy more of those.
Oh, you did? Oh.
So I went with the Olipop, which also gives me prebiotics, botanicals, and plant fiber, so I can be regular. That was almost a worse commercial than we gave CSB.LOL.
Well, so you hold on. You're drinking water to be regular?
No, I just grabbed this to drink because I needed something to take my pills, and it just happens to be a soda that the wife likes, but there's prebiotics in it, and there is fiber in it. So, it's one of these, again, pretend that you're healthy so we can charge $2 a can thing. We're in the wrong business, I'm telling you.
Yeah, the health supplement business definitely does much better than podcast business.
What is with the war on taurine right now, man? That is crazy.
What's going on there?
Bunch of articles that are like, hey, if you have blood cancer, if you have leukemia, taurine is going to make it worse.
Yeah, could be.
It's not saying it causes it, but if you have it, that the taurine feeds the cancer cells where they realized in the leukemia, which may be a big breakthrough, I don't know, that if they could block the absorption of the taurine, that they could actually get the leukemia into remission. So, I mean, interesting medical stuff, but we all know how this stuff gets so convoluted very fast. We're finally seeing what the cover-up was in the Biden administration with the mRNA shots. Oh, wait, myocarditis? Oh, really? We just realized this now.
Yeah.
Like, really? That was being broken at the time this was all going on. And no, we were removed. Well, we weren't. They were removing people from the social medias for even to suggest that. But I digress. Back to making posters really big. It's nice to have this technology now. Because I've made a few posters. So it's like you could just take a regular photograph and instead of printing it up and being like, well, that doesn't look as vibrant, that doesn't look as crisp. The software packages that do this are very nice, which is also for even making stuff like the No Agenda artwork, where I won again yesterday. Thank you very much. The AIs all want to create the stuff at like 1024 by 1024. So you just throw it into Topaz, it makes it like 3000 by 3000 and boom, ready to go. Full dimensions, resolutions. It's what you should have. Take all your old photos, make them like new.
I think you're right. I think it does. As long as you understand that it's a restored image, not the original image, there's nothing wrong with that.
And I guess it's so much easier for people to do this themselves. Otherwise, that would be a big business.
It used to be a big business. Yeah.
Bring in your old photographs, and people bring in like 5 photographs and you can charge like $500.
I just don't think it's much of a business anymore.
Well, I think a lot of this is because photographs used to be something special going back, even, let's just say, even right before the cell phone era. They used to be something special that were treasured. But now there are people with the cell phones who are taking 60 photos a minute. And it's like they mean nothing anymore. It's just like.
And I predicted that as well. I predict a lot of things. Not that anyone gives a shit.
Yeah, 3% come true, which is a really good ratio.
There was a sports photographer dude, that a buddy of mine that I worked with back in, this would have been mid to late 2000s, probably like 2008, 7 or 8. And I remember he was doing sports photography, and he was all gung ho about how the new cameras that were coming out were doing like 15 frames a second. And it's like, this is almost getting to the point where like you're getting the high quality of a camera, but at the speed of a film, which,
right?
Is as slow as 24 frames, but potentially 30 frames. So it's kind of blending him. And what he was wanting it for was not because he wanted to shoot video, but because he wanted to shoot really fast and for a long time, so that he could always have that magic looking shot,
right,
just as the baseball touches the bat,
right, which is awesome.
Yeah, which looked very impressive.
It's like catching the bullet going behind Trump's head.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. You
have to press the button a lot to get that.
Well, you also have to hire the FBI to shoot it, I guess, if you're going to do that. But anyway, so he was gung, and I said, well, it's coming. They're only going to keep getting better. We'll get up to a point where you're literally shooting photos at 60 frames a second someday.
Right, you're shooting video.
Yeah, you're basically shooting video, but not at the video resolutions, because back then, I think 1080p was the highest resolution video, which is certainly still not good enough for photography.
No, it's good for video, but it wasn't great for still.
Basically 2 megapixel, right? It's 1080 by 1920. So it's essentially 2 megapixels. Cameras at that point were doing 20 megapixels or even 24 megapixels. So significantly higher quality.
Well, and a lot of it was what kind of storage you had.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And so the issue with having just video cameras for photography was the resolution wasn't there. So if you could make a video camera that's shooting 8K video, it's probably good enough, because 8K video is not 8 megapixel. 8K video is actually, what is the resolution of 8K video? So 4K is 4:2. 8K would be 8:4. So 32 megapixel. So each frame is 32 megapixel in 8K video. That is good enough. And that is what is considered to be essentially eye quality. Like, you can't see any more detail, your eyeball retina. Well, not yours. Yours is like 1 megapixel.
I can get you down to 480p once again. Yeah.
Yours is 640 by 480.
Works perfectly.
But back when you were a brand new spanking 20-year-old or so, you would have had about 24 to 32 K resolution. 8K resolution. 8K is the brand name, but the actual amount of pixels in your eyeball, the resolution. You know what the term resolution what actually means? It doesn't mean obviously number of pixels, because in analog days we didn't have pixels.
Well, you did, but you really didn't pay attention to them like the same way we do now.
Well, the resolution is the ability to discern a line, a black line usually on a white sheet of paper, next to a white space of the same thickness, and then another black line next to it. So it's alternating black, white, black, white, black, white. So the resolution is the ability to resolve how many of those alternating lines per millimeter can you see before it just becomes a blurry gray. Because when you have black lines next to white lines and you have them at too high a resolution, there's too many of them for the lens. Usually, resolution mainly referred to the lens quality, because that was the weak spot. It wasn't even the film, because the film was fairly large size. But ultimately, if the lenses are really good, then the film becomes the weak spot, because the grains on the film are effectively the pixels. But anyway, how many of those alternating black-white lines can you resolve as being independent and distinct versus just a blurry gray mess? And we've kind of adapted that term resolution to just mean number of pixels.
It makes sense. I mean, you should be able to tell the difference between something that was completely analog in the photographic world over something that has been digital for that reason.
Well, and if you look at a lot of old TV shows, like pre-video recorded TV shows, like shows that were done
on film
in the 80s and early 90s, it's amazing how good they look at 4K compared to shows that were done after that, because they were shot on video instead of and like professional video,
right?
But they weren't shot on film, because the stuff that was shot on film was shot at film quality, and then
brought down for TV, like Seinfeld.
Exactly. Like you could watch Seinfeld in perfect 4K today.
Hey, Hogan's Heroes, even go back to the 60s.
Yes, exactly. All those, I stopped the 80s, but you're absolutely right.
But if you have never seen Hogan's Heroes in the restored Blu-ray, they took it from film, and you'd swear the thing was filmed within the last 5 years.
Yeah, because it looks better than a lot of older stuff. Yeah,
well, it looks better than a lot of new stuff too.
And that's a Blu-ray, which is 1080p. I bet you could probably get it in 4K, and it would look like it's 4K.
Well, that's the beauty of it.
They were generally shooting that stuff on 35 millimeter cameras. Because I guess cheaper stuff could have been shot on 16 millimeter.
And then you have the upscaling, which is another thing that Topaz has for video as well. I played around with that. I have to do it on the Mac now, because on the Windows machine I had, it was painfully slow.
Yep.
But you could take 480p, your old DVDs. I still have a super VHS of our wedding tape, which I swear was never watched since the wedding.
Probably, yeah.
Like, well, now I guess would be the time.
Careful, every time you watch a tape that old, maybe the last time, because that plastic is brittle.
Which is why you have to digitize it when you watch it.
Should. Yeah.
That's it. That'll be the magic. And then upscale it to 4K. Yep. Woo!
Yep.
Because I want to see that kind of detail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember being young when your life was just laid out in front of you?
I just remember being old, man.
Remember when it seemed like everything was at your feet and you had a whole life to live?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you shouldn't be listening to the show, because this is not the show for you.
No.
This is the angry, we're old, we're pissed, and we're not going to take it anymore show. But you got to keep up with the technology so you can take all of your old porn and make it new porn.
Is that what you got to do?
No, I think that's what a lot of people do. The AI, isn't that the whole point of AI? Is like porn. You can make porn. You can make porn. You can make deep fakes. And what do you think of all these deep fake laws? It's like, how are you going to prove anything? There's two main problems that I see with all the deep fake laws. One, how do you prove who did what? And two, I fully believe there will be a case that a 12-year-old will make some porn of Sabrina Carpenter or Taylor Swift or some girl in their class and get charged with a felony for, pressing a button on his laptop. It's like, it's insane, because people can't handle their high.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of really bad laws relating to pornography, or how do I describe it? Relating
and even AI.
No, not even AI, but we're just relating to, like, it's a bullshit there. I think they call them something totally unrelated too. They call them like I can't remember.
Did you take your B12 today, Gene?
No, I took it right in front of you. What I'm referring to is the stupid laws relating to having videos of your ex-girlfriends or ex-wives.
Right,
revenge
okay.
porn. That's what they call it. Revenge porn.
And then uploading that.
Yeah. And here's the thing. This is why the first thing you should do whenever you start getting to the point of being intimate with somebody.
Sign a contract.
Have them sign. Yeah, you got to have contracts, man. You can't live life without contracts.
But be very careful if you're using AI to generate the contract.
So, yeah, that's true too. And this is why I think AI revenge porn is going to become a lot more popular, because no consent. No, you don't need to have a contract for that, right? So it's a difficult issue because you've got emotions on the one side. Like, well, I was only letting you record me and knowing that you were recording me and being totally okay with that because I liked you back then. Now I don't like you, and therefore I withdraw my right to have you be able to own that video footage.
Right. You can't withdraw a right that you've already given.
Legally, that is true. However,
not for previous things, right?
However, there are tons of female judges out there.
Why did we let that happen?
I know, right? And they're all trying to take Trump down.
Well, true. It seems that way.
It is. It's like, if you're a female judge, your job now is not to uphold the law. It is to take down Trump. Anything he does, you have to put in a court order against. That's how it works. Yeah, female prisons are going to get so crowded with judges, man. Can't wait. And then we could make the women wear like red robes. That'd be even better.
True. And shouldn't you just say don't consent to it in the first place if you don't want it to show up on the internet?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing, is technically the person that presses the shutter button always owns the copyright. Now, you can have obscenity laws that maybe you're not allowed to display certain lewd content, but what they've done is come up with a whole new category of laws that takes the copyright away from the actual copyright holder, the person holding the phone as his dick is being sucked, and putting that copyright, giving it to the person that is doing the work on the bottom there. Now, if this is a person that never gave their consent in the first place, okay, that's reasonable, right?
Yeah, I think so.
However,
hidden cameras are a thing.
Yeah, hidden cameras are a thing, and I think you have a stronger argument going after hidden cameras. And so that's why I've always had all the girls sign modeling contracts.
And the 15 cameras that are around are all very visible.
Yeah, even the ones that are hidden. So it's like either you do contracts or you talk about it, you make it obvious. And the best thing, and this is something they started doing in the porn industry many, 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 many years ago, is they start the video recording with, please tell us your name, hold up your driver's license to prove that you're over 18 years old, and tell us why you're here.
Right.
That's why all these porn video like pre-shoots, I've heard allegedly, I wouldn't know anything about that, of course, but I've heard
for research. I'm sure you've been
they
doing.
all start off with that exact format. Tell us your name, show us your driver's license. How old are you? Say that for the camera, and tell us why you're here. And then it's pretty hard to argue that you never gave consent when you just did that on film right before being gangbanged.
There was a case of one group of guys that made films that got sued because they were telling the girls allegedly that, oh no, these will never show up in the United States. This is just for the a very specific, Japanese market or wherever.
Oh yeah. That's a very typical common thing.
Yeah, your dads will never see these. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't. Ow. Then guess what, kids? They lied.
Have you? They didn't have to lie. It's just a stupid thing to believe.
True. It's like it's digital.
Oh, no. This photo I take, it'll stay on my phone and never leave it.
Oh, yeah. Even for anybody, whether you're a kid in school going on up, if your boyfriend, girlfriend's like, hey, send me this kind of a pic, you should never assume that they're the only person that's going to see it and they're not going to immediately share it with all their friends. The only reason
that a guy would be asking for you to send a photo of your intimate bits is because he's got his buddy standing next to him and he wants to show you off.
Right, like,
that
hey,
is
baby.
Literally the only reason the guy wants a naked photo of his girlfriend is to show you off so he can be like, oh, holy shit, man, she's really hot. You got lucky.
Right, hey, baby.
That's it. That's the only reason. Now, guys, on the other hand, will be happy to send dick pics all day long and not give a shit who sees them.
Except for the like high school kids who then find out it was a guy in Nigeria who tries to blackmail them and then they kill themselves, which is the craziest scheme.
That is kind of weird.
I mean, it's like one, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's like, who cares that you did that? I don't understand.
Yeah.
For these people, for these kids, it's like if you haven't gone through that class yet on if somebody you don't know asks for a dick pic, you're probably going to be blackmailed. You should go through that so then you can decide whether or not you want to kill yourself or be off the internet. Maybe not send the dick pics if you're that invested.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something the great Bill O'Reilly was talking about when the stocks really went down, with the, hey, we're going to put all these tariffs. He's like, if you are emotionally distraught, if stocks go up or down any given day, you really shouldn't be in the stock market.
Mm-hmm.
And like anything else, it's like if you are unable to handle the implications of whatever you're doing, living your life on the internet, you shouldn't be on the internet. And guys, random girls do not send you nudes. I mean, why did nobody's teaching the guys this?
Mm-hmm.
If you're on Instagram, some hot, like 18-year-old college girl is not sending you nudes going, hey, send me yours. That's not real. Not real. Never going to happen. There's only a very easy way to take care of all these things. Be like, yeah, I'll show you in person.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best way to do it. It's a win-win situation at that point.
Oh, yeah. And then you show up and it's a couple of guys throw you in the van. That's usually how that works.
Yeah, don't do it in like a very sketchy part of town.
What part of town are you going to be in when somebody's going to be showing off their private bits to you?
Well, it all depends. You're like, hey, where do you want to meet? Want to meet at Gene's house? He's got a big snake. Lots of CO2. Lots of CO2.
Yeah, CO2 is good for you. It makes you sleepy.
Yeah, it's the highest. It explains why your pornos are always so lackluster.
We talked about not talking about those.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I forgot that was the that was somebody else. Mm-hmm. Did you like the latest graphic for our show art on episode 154, Earballs?
Yeah.
I thought that was great.
It's not my term. I'm just borrowing the term, but yeah.
But I thought the graphic was great. Gene, a representation that just somewhat looks like Gene playing a video game while there's a really hot chick behind him with some other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll be back in a while, Gene. Okay, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Nerf herders.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because there's never a hot chick in the background for guys playing video games, so it's kind of a misnomer. But
what you're saying is once you're down the video game hole, the hot chicks are long gone.
No, I think if you're down the hot chick hole, you just don't play video games. I mean, I didn't play video games for like a good 13, 14 years.
Then then you came. This is okay. So here's the story I want to know, because then a younger Gene came to a fork in the road. Pussy or joysticks?
I've told this story. So obviously I played video games when I was young. And
as
then,
we all do.
I kind of stopped playing video games when I started making good money in my 20s.
See, which was dumb because that was the point you could have had the best hardware money could buy. And that sounded way dirtier than I meant it to.
Yeah, exactly. So I was focusing on other things like making money, going out partying every night, and chicks. And there was no video games involved in any of that. That was in the mid 90s. And then I
bought the recumbent bike.
I'm trying to remember. No, dude, that's like 30 years later. No, so that was in the mid 90s. And then there's really no video games until probably about the 4th year of marriage. Like the first 4 years of marriage, there was enough sex involved that kind of kept my attention.
Yeah, checks. By the 5th year?
By the 4th, 5th, probably 5th year of marriage, there was new hardware out. There was some cool video game titles like Grand Theft Auto and things. And I mean, like, if you're going to spend time on one, you're not going to spend time on the other. And it doesn't, the way that people think it works, the way it's funny is that there's a hot chick that's just wanting to have sex with you. And you're like, yeah, no, later, I'm in the middle of a game. That's not how it works. The way it works is when there's a hot chick that wants to have sex with you, there's no video games. When there's no longer either a hot chick and a chick is no longer hot, or there is no sex because you're married, then you've got plenty of free time for other activities. And one of those activities is playing video games, right?
Pizza and video games, yeah.
So I mid marriage, I started playing video games. And I got pretty fucking good at it, to the point where when Battlefield first came out, I think I mentioned this before too, I was third ranked in the world in the game. Yeah.
How much did that pay?
Never made it past third, though.
That has to hurt.
It was still fun. I was killing people. I was having a lot of, my kill to death ratios were off the roof. They were insane. Before I would die, I would take out 20 guys.
So you were taking 20 guys down? What were you doing? You were getting...
Yeah, before I died.
Damn.
And then...
That's one way to go.
And then, obviously, after I got divorced, there was no video games, because who has time for video games?
Well, I thought maybe she's like, fuck you, I don't want it, but I'm taking your game. I'm taking your PC. Taking all your money.
Well, she didn't want the PC, but she did take the money for sure. But not
they always
PC,
do, G.
But by that point in time, I was playing quite a bit of video games on the PC by the time divorce rolled around.
Did you notice that you were divorced, or did it take a few weeks to notice?
No, I noticed it because I felt a huge weight off my shoulders of paying for all of her stuff because she wasn't working.
And you're like, where's dinner?
Yeah, that stopped probably year 6 or 7. Probably year 7 dinner stopped. Then it was like, make it yourself. But, once I was back in the hunting for a female type after post-divorce, then I didn't play video games probably for another 7-8 years. Probably 7. Yeah, probably 7 or 8, maybe 8. Probably 8 years I didn't play games. And then what got me back in video games, amazingly, was I was dating this 20-year-old chick that was a Twitch streamer. Like, that's all she did. She for work, if you will, was Twitch streaming. And so I dated her for a while, and she played video games all day long. And I was like, I used to have a good PC. I don't have anything anymore. In fact, after I got divorced, I kind of got rid of my gaming PC, and I didn't have anything. Eventually, I bought an Xbox because I had friends that wanted to play Xbox games. So I did a little bit of that, but I would not consider that really gaming. But being with this 20-year-old chick, it was like, I got exposed to games again, and there's some pretty damn good video games out there. And so I ended up buying a gaming laptop. That was my compromise. Like, okay, well, I'm not going to get a full-on gaming PC, but I'll buy a gaming laptop. And I played on that for over a year before I just kind of felt like, man, I'm missing out on the really high-end games because it doesn't have the graphics juice to power through them. So I ended up getting my first gaming PC in many years. And that the 20-year-old was way gone at that point. The 20-year-old lasted that particular 20-year-old, the streamer chick, I think that lasted about 6 months, 6-7 months.
Then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, and then I dated her friend for a while, then who was like 26, so she's more mature. But that didn't go anywhere. Then I was like, I started feeling like I'm enjoying the video games more than I am enjoying these women.
So you made that particular choice. That's what I was getting at.
Well, yeah, you kind of do. And believe me, there could well be women that I would choose well over a video game. I just haven't run into any recently. And I'm probably less likely to playing video games.
That's true. Ladies, if you're looking for love,
although
Gene.
These days, man, the number of weddings that are happening between people that met in video games is also crazy right now. I thought that was a ridiculous thing. It's definitely a thing right now.
They're like, come on down.
The number of female gaming players every year keeps increasing. It's still nowhere near 50-50.
Because they're realizing there's some money in it.
It's heading in the right direction. Well, I think also video games, much like the term nerd has become like, nerd is a synonym for a guy who makes over $100,000 a year.
Well, now probably 250.
Probably now. Yeah, it's probably 250. Exactly. That's a good point. I mean, at the way that salaries are right now, I think 200, minimum of 200 right now is the old 100. It used to be like, it makes six figures. That six figures, $100,000 is like barely over entry level for a lot of jobs. And a lot of guys in tech are making over 250. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, all you need is
everybody
your AI to make you the money.
Amazon is making over 250.
They're like, we just keep making more Bezos money.
Over 350.
Get that Bezos money.
I remember making $3.50 an hour when I was a kid.
I know. Yeah, the first job I had was filling chlorine tanks out behind the pool store.
A perfect job for a kid.
I know, right?
This will never impact his vision at all.
No, or his lungs. I'm surprised I can still breathe.
Exactly. Nope. Never lead to any heart, lung, or eye problems ever.
Then I went down to working at a bookstore. Yes. Then a bookstore for a few years.
Oh, yes. Yes. Black mold. Perfect.
Then Radio Shack. Circuit City.
So radiation.
Lots of radiation at Radio Shack. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could sell you anything.
Probably
man.
more at Circuit City. You had all those devices running all the time around you. Like,
I was in audio though, so it was fairly. I wasn't near the TVs.
Well, audio is a little better, yeah. But if you're walking around like 100 TV sets all day long, I don't know how you don't get irradiated by something.
Yeah, because back then they weren't even LED. They weren't tubes, baby.
Yeah, yeah.
Those CRTs were putting out something.
It is wild and crazy stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna just finish off my video gaming chick thing. Is what really got me is COVID, because during COVID, like most opportunities for going out to places where you may meet chicks and to just be around humans disappeared.
And you went all video game, all virtual.
And then I was like, well, I already had the video games installed, and I'm actually talking to people in video games. Are interacting in multiplayer games, which is kind of cool. And so, yeah, it was one of those things that just like, you end up doing more and more of it. But it wasn't until last year that I just started streaming myself.
That sounds so sad.
Really, not even streaming, but just making videos.
I'm streaming myself.
I'm not. Well, I'm hardly streaming. I'm mostly just making videos.
Hello, world. It's me, Gene. Let me tell you how to mine Uthiriak out of the planet Gorgon and make your way to the other galaxies.
Mm-hmm. And if I was monetized, then I'd be making way more money than I am on this show. That's for sure.
Well, you should be monetized. You get it.
I should be, but YouTube keeps having issues with monetization.
Like why? Because you don't have
about seven or 8 months of issues so far.
Like we don't like you. Russian social security numbers don't count.
Yes, you have Russian social security numbers, so we can't pay you.
We do not pay in rubles. Damn YouTube people.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't totally taken our show off. I would have sworn.
I'm amazed.
The Unrelenting account that we have just ignored anything they sent. Like we're taking this down. Like fuck you. I don't care. Take whatever you want down.
Mm-hmm.
Never respond to anything. They just keep letting them go up.
Anything?
I think they did like the first time, like saying we removed these episodes because
you never did jack shit.
No. Like, what am I going to do about it? I'm like, we're a podcast. It's an RSS feed. We're not changing. If you don't want it, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's only there to see for the lulls and see how long it's going to last.
That's true.
Nobody uses that to listen to podcasts. Nobody listens on
I think
X.
if you had some kind of a cool little video footage generator thing running so that it actually had watchable video, people probably would watch it.
Well, maybe we should get that AI going.
I
Come
thought
on.
about it, but I'm not even meaning AI. I'm not just fine public, copyright free.
Girls on trampolines.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, anything. Anything that we don't have to pay money for, and just loop it in the background, because who cares? There's got to be some public domain girls on trampolines.
There was, and I think I downloaded it. It has to be on one of the NAS systems. I'm trying to remember who it was. I'm thinking it was a car company.
Mm-hmm.
There was a looping slow-mo of Adriana Lima that was like 12 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that would be fine. Now we can use AI and just change Adriana Lima to somebody else and just create a bunch of those.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, here you go, brand new video. Not protected by any copyrighted law at all. Allegedly,
exactly.
Can't we just steal things from like Vlad? There has to be some hot Russian chicks that we could just take their image. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Like, you're in Russia.
You could.
What are you going to do to me? I'm in the United States. I'm in the land of the free.
If you take that from Vlad, then you're going to be, investigated like Tim Pool as a Russian agent because allegedly his company had licensed the show to another company, the other company then had a investment from a Russian citizen who was in the United States, which proves that Vlad himself has been operating the Tim Pool show.
That seems logical to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Seems very logical. I still don't watch Tim Pool, though. I just don't have time.
I don't watch it much, but I start to watch a lot of episodes, and I watch about 5 minutes, and then I switch because I get boring.
Well, now that he's like showing up on normal news that want to talk to him, it's like, isn't this kind of a blurring of the world? Like, haven't you become what
I'm
you
happy
hate?
that he's done well. I watched him when he was just starting to grow, and I subscribed to him for like 3 years.
Yeah, you sent him a lot of rubles.
I sent him a lot of rubles over the years, and then he got accused of being a Russian agent, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stop.
Due to his connection, obviously, with you and your crime syndicate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The Texas Klan.
Texas Klan. Yeah.
They're like, Mr. Pool, we see here some payments.
So I'm no longer in the Texas Klan either. That actually had a big blow up.
Wow. Did you have to give your robes back and everything?
The Klan. Yeah. Yes. Had to give them back.
You're not doing any more meetups?
Now a lot of the people that I used to play the game with from the Texas Klan started the Tejas Clan.
No.
So, yes.
That's the alternative to the alternative.
Yeah. So now there's the Tejas Clan I'm technically an affiliated member, but I don't generally play with them. But when they're short of people, I will get a text message saying, "Hey, do you want to jump on? We need a player."
Wow. So you're like the backup.
I'm like the, what do you call those people? The
substitution.
Yeah, I guess.
You're the sub player.
I'm the guy that's there in case the real player doesn't show for whatever reason. Then
You're the guy with the ball gag in your mouth.
No.
Wait, that's a different clan. Sorry.
Yeah. That may be what's happening in your neck of the woods. We just have the Tejas Clan here. I don't know what kind of thing you have out there.
The Texas. You have the Texas Clan too, though. That is a very nice clan. I was looking again at the Amtrak. 27 hours between Austin and Chirac.
Mm-hmm.
Not too bad.
It's horrible.
Well,
it's literally a 3-hour flight.
Yeah, but why would I want to get on an airplane? I don't even have real ID.
Oh my gosh. Yes, you do.
No, I'm like, fuck that shit. I ain't going for real ID.
But it's not up to you. It's your driver's license. It's up to your state.
Yeah, we're not real ID. We had to go in personally.
You're not going to get new driver's licenses that say you're done? You're done driving.
No, they keep giving the old ones, but you have to go in person to get the real ID ones. They will keep renewing, and they've been renewing my driver's license as long as we've been doing the show. They just keep sending new ones like, hey, you're a good driver. You haven't killed anybody. Which is true because I'm
Ours
barely
are
on the
10
road.
years here in Texas. Every 10 years, you need a new photograph.
No, not this one. Not this one here.
They don't have a photo of you with your googly eyes?
No, not with the new screwed up eye. No, we're still going back before then.
Wow.
I look like a fine, upstanding individual.
Yeah.
This goes through 2028 too. So, I mean, I
was shocked by how much I've grayed over a decade. When I went in, I think it was last year, I went in to get my license updated. And then the girl pulled up my, last photo. And I was like, oh my gosh, can you give me a copy of that? Because it's amazing.
Now, here where he's got a segue into our sponsor from Just for Men.
Yeah, exactly.
You go in gray. It's an easy way.
It's, no, it was just, I thought I was going gray 10 years ago. I always kind of thought, I kind of have a gray beard. But I compare that to what I look like now. And it's like, I'm not going gray. I am white.
So you color the beard?
See,
is that what you
CSB?
do?
I'm white. So
Woo!
Screw you.
Whoa, yeah, you're whiter than CSB.
Uh-huh. I probably am. We don't have a photo of CSB, but I'm pretty sure I'm whiter.
Don't you? I thought we had photos. I thought the agency got them.
Do you have them?
Yeah.
Not important enough.
No. We'll send them.
Okay.
Darren, do not release the photos. Top secret.
Uh-huh.
Secret Squirrel. Rocky.
Yeah.
That was the sidekick for Secret Squirrel, wasn't it? Rocky? No, was it Rocky? No, that was the moose.
Rocky was Bullwinkle.
Secret Squirrel.
Moose and squirrel.
But that was Rocky was the squirrel. But okay, for Secret Squirrel, totally different cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
There was I know Morocco Mole was like his arch nemesis, but I thought he had a sidekick too.
I don't know.
These are the kind of things we worry about here.
Yeah, are you still taking drugs? We got to do our drug segment.
No, do I need more drugs?
I don't know. Do you need more drugs?
I'm out of drugs.
I just want to make sure the bingo card has drugs on it.
I am out of drugs. I haven't sold any Taylor Swift merchandise.
I thought you're off Taylor Swift and you haven't sold any drugs recently.
We haven't ordered lunch yet.
No.
I haven't had a good pizza lately.
I can tell you what I'm going to have for lunch because it's in the fridge.
I did have a good, nice steak burrito the other day with extra hot sauce. And man, I love hot sauce.
Do you want to know what I'm going to have for lunch?
What's in the fridge, Gene? This should be a new segment. We need some AI music like, what's in the fridge, Gene?
Well, usually not much other than tea. No, I've got catfish.
Are they live?
No, they're cooked. They're battered.
They're battered up. They're fried. Somebody else did the work for you. Can you really reheat them to make them good? You put them in the air fryer?
No, that's not going to be good. It's going to be cold catfish.
Cold? Wait.
Yeah.
Fried, breaded catfish now cold?
Yeah. Cold. Yeah.
Wow, what a sad life.
Yeah, and shrimp.
You should stream that.
Sorry, crawdads.
Oh, you got to sucker the heads off the crawdads. We were talking about that last week.
Yeah. So same place. I reordered, same place. It's amazing. This is the place I talked about before.
Right off the highway.
Right off the highway, driven by it many, many years, 15 years. Never stopped there until recently. And it's holy shit, is the food good. So I had I got 3 days worth of catfish.
How many pounds was that?
That was 6 portions.
Ooh.
Of catfish, of fried catfish. And so it comes with catfish, fried catfish, comes with some fried crawdads, battered fried, and then comes with
side of okra.
Yes, good call. Fried okra.
Woo!
Very good. There you go. You are back to mind reading. Good job, Darren. That's exactly what I had. Fried okra. I have to admit, I only eat about half of that. I'm not a huge okra fan.
No, I agree there.
It reminds me of
fried. I don't think I've ever had fried okra.
Oh yeah. You batter fry everything here.
It's Texas. It's way easier.
Fried okra, and then hush puppies.
Oh, hush puppies are the best.
Mm-hmm. And they overdo the hush puppies. They probably gave me like a pound of those.
Well, yeah, that's the whole Five Guys concept. But just fill the bag with fries. Yeah. They'll feel like they got a ton of food for a little less money.
Yeah. Well, it actually wasn't bad. It was about $55 for literally 6 portions of this stuff.
Under $10 a meal in Austin is amazing.
Yes, that is under $10. You're quite right on that. Yeah. I mean, it's not really per meal per se because
you add extra.
I had 2 portions per day, but yeah.
Now that you can barely go out around here and get a fucking omelet for less than $16.
That's true. And most places are like that. That's why when I see a good deal like on catfish, I take it.
Nice and spicy.
Catfish, if people have never eaten catfish.
I have not.
You've never had? Really? Surprising. Catfish has a bad reputation because it's a, bottom dweller. And so it's kind of more smelly. But when you make the catfish, you have to not just wash it, but actually let it sit in water for a few hours.
Kind of destinkify it or
salty
what?
Water or something. I don't know. There's it destinkifies it. So there's zero smell of the catfish at this point. But catfish fillets are super tender. They're very, very soft and they fall apart very easily once you bite into them. Unlike fish like tuna or salmon that are more, they like more meaty. They like stick together until you cut them. Whereas catfish just, flakes right up. It's more like, I guess, more like cod in that sense. You've had cod?
I think so.
Yeah. But it's quite tasty. And, come on. Fried anything is going to be tasty. Fried anything that's battered and deep fried, because that's what's adding the taste is the batter and the frying to whatever the thing you're putting in there is. You could do fried cheesesteak. They have that.
Oh, fried cheesesteak or fried cheesecake? Either one, man.
Yeah. I mean, fried cheesesteak would be good too, but no, cheesecake, fried cheesecake.
Oh yeah, back in the day, loved.
Mm-hmm.
They were at the Mexican restaurants where they would do the deep fried ice cream.
Ice cream. Yeah, fried ice cream. Although it's not deep fried though, is it? Because I thought it was ice cream that had, I guess it would have to be deep fried. You're right.
Yeah.
God damn.
Well, the ice cream, because that was the trick to it is the ice cream has to be, you can't freeze it at like 30 degrees or you have to freeze it at like
super cold.
So it can handle the 60 seconds or whatever it takes for the outer thing to fry up without the ice cream inside becoming mush. But a lot of times they didn't get it quite right. And the ice cream would still be so fucking hard that you would try to get into it and be like, nope.
We had like a place, like, I don't think it was called Casa Bonita's, but it was something like that in Minnesota. It was like the one Mexican restaurant I remember from the 80s before really Mexican food spread throughout the country. And I was like, hey, we should go to that Mexican place, whatever it was called. And it was like a whole experience where they had the walking guitar players.
The flamenco, yeah.
And they had the fried ice cream there. And you can get your taco salad. It's super authentic Mexican.
Well, I wanted to tell you, I totally forgot. In the suburb that's like 10, 15 minutes away.
Champaign?
No, that's a little bit further. Orland Park.
Yeah.
Foco de Chao.
Oh, you got a Foco de Chao now. Nice.
Yeah. So send a gift card for like $800, whatever I need for a good meal to go check out Foco de Chao. Like
you will like it, man.
Meat
I
on a
love
stick.
Place. Even without the stick, it's very good. If you want to have a 0 carb meal, you could go there.
You just like all meat. Just give me meat. I mean, more meat, meat.
It's hard because they have one of the best salad bars of any restaurant, period. And the reason that's so good is because they want you to fill up on salad bars so you eat less meat.
Right. They're like, the meat's too expensive. We got to give you an alternative.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, it's all you can eat, but eat the salad bar. Try it. See if you like it. And it's a very good salad bar. You just have to limit yourself. And then their little cheesy breads are fucking incredible.
Cheesy bread.
Cheesy breads are awesome.
Carb times 10.
Big time. But then, yeah, check it out for sure. I think we're done.
You got to go to Foco de Chao. Yeah. Yeah. We don't even have a outro anymore.
Don't need one. That's the thing. That's the beauty of podcasts is that unlike television, we're not trying to bumper something else.
I blame Darren O'Neill.
always blame Darren O'Neill. That's what
you and JCD are like very much alike in that way. We'd like to thank everybody for hanging out with us live in the troll room.
Yeah, thanks for all the money that y'all didn't send, and a few you did.
The few you that did. There was a crash of the stream at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at Cotton Gin's little thing, and I think there was a actual drop on the stream.
Were we getting DDoSed?
Probably.
Was that what was happening?
When I disconnected, because it made Mix freeze, which is something brand new. But I think that was because the live connection. I'll see if there's anything worthwhile in the error reports from the program, but it made everything just freeze up. But since there was a stream drop at the time, it wasn't just me locally having the thing freeze up. It seems like the stream crashed, causing
could be
the thing to freeze up. So we'll find that out. No, Dave and Adam today, they're all off for the big weekend, Memorial Day. CSB was like, oh, you and Jew can talk for 5 hours. No, I still have the wife coming home for lunch, CSB. She would be interrupting.
Yeah.
That's why I can't even have a good, girlfriend. I mean, wife comes home. That's no good.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Have you tried video games?
Yes, the one I wrote.
I think they work pretty good at driving wives away.
Yeah, the one I wrote. So it's even better. It's the planetrage.show/game, which is the new browser game that I've been using with. Sunday is a clip show for No Agenda.
You need some kind of a gimmick.
Yeah, that's what we're working on.
Two guys with voices that are too low for normal people.
Yeah, it's a very good show.
Playing clips of things they didn't create from scratch. Yeah, that's not enough of a gimmick. You guys need more of a gimmick.
Well, we are so much like No Agenda that when they call it quits, I mean, we'll probably have to pay them a VIG, a certain percentage, but we can probably just slide right in to the No Agenda slot.
That's probably realistic. I think if you took over, I think they probably even just let you do it for. They get 80, you get 20 of everything.
Right. Exactly. Well, and it would be a sliding scale.
Like when they get all the big stuff, you get all the little stuff.
Maybe then the next year we can go 70-30. The year after that, maybe 50-50.
Yeah.
As long as we're paying the boys, that's all that matters.
Yeah. That's the key thing. But also, I don't think you'd get the donations the way they do.
Well, even they're not getting the donations the way they used to. And we could talk about that again next week.
Nobody's getting donations.
No, this is it. I put the, at least just for the Satoshis, I put it into the AI, and the trends are everything, not just this show, not just every one of my shows really peaked toward the end of last year. And then all of a sudden
it's politics. It is totally the elections. I got to say that is the key thing that was the talking point of most shows I listen to and all the shows I do was the elections. Everything was focused on, is Trump going to get in? Are Democrats going to cheat? And I think that attracted a lot of people.
Yeah, then the interest waned. Ooh.
Yeah, I think and for everybody, like I told Ben on the last show, he's like, you didn't watch a single political video, and you had nothing that, there's nothing that he brought up that I'd heard of. Like, oh, and then this happened. What did you think of that? I was like, I don't know, didn't know about it. And then he's like, you didn't watch the damn thing. I'm like, Ben, you're absolutely right. I'm kind of sick of politics. I'm kind of not wanting to talk about politics. I said, why don't we talk about guns or something?
Oh, I like guns.
Yeah, I like guns. I haven't bought a new one in a while, but I still like guns. But the politics thing, I got to take a break, man.
And everybody, you can take a break this weekend. Have a fun time. Gene and I will see you next Friday. Same unrelenting sign, same unrelenting channel. Cheapskate motherfuckers.
Actually, we probably won't. Yeah, because I'll be traveling.
That. 86 that. 86 that.
I'll be traveling, so next show is a skip.
We'll let you know when you can find us, CSB. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Later. We are clear.
Okay, good. Yeah, so that's one thing I totally forgot to mention. So I'm traveling next week for 10 days. So
nice.
We'll for sure miss one show, possibly two.
You going up to the beautiful Washington area?
Yeah, I'm going to see my dad out there.
Well, that's nice. Hope you don't get liberal attacked.
I haven't been out in a couple of years. He's getting older and older, so.
Yeah, better to do it when you can. I know how that goes.
Exactly. Exactly. And then the other thing I was going to mention, it's my birthday this weekend, so I'm not going to do anything.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you.
Get yourself a video game and a hooker. She's like, wait, you want to play video games?
One of them is more worth. Yeah, that's so by hooker, you mean a woman that'll stand about 6 feet behind me, tapping her toe with her arms folded and giving me a dirty look. Right. That's what you mean by hooker. Okay. Yes. Yeah, I'll get one of them.
It's the girlfriend experience.
It is the total girlfriend experience. So you're going to play that all day?
You're like, thank you. Yes, this is exactly what I was looking for.
Care at all about my feelings?
You've got it. Now we're this is great.
See,
Keep going.
The post-show content's always better than the actual show content.
I know. I mean, it's still running, so I can just put it on the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, stopping the recorder now.